stop scrolling right now. Because what you're about to hear isn't just another money lesson, it's a reality. Check. Most people avoid their entire lives. This is the truth about what it actually feels like to go from $0 to $100,000. Not the Instagram version, not the polished success stories, not the highlight reels where everything looks perfect. This is the raw, uncomfortable progression that happens quietly, behind the scenes, when no one is watching. And here's the part most people don't want to hear. Hard work alone is not what keeps people stuck. It's awareness, or more specifically, the lack of it. Because most people are playing a financial game without even realizing what level they're on. They're making decisions based on feelings, habits, and short-term relief, without understanding the long-term consequences. And that's why they stay exactly where they are, year after year, decade after decade. So for the next few minutes, don't skip ahead, don't multitask, don't treat this like background noise. Just listen. Imagine this is the only voice guiding you. Because by the end of this, you won't just understand money differently, you'll understand yourself differently. You'll see exactly where you were in this journey and, more importantly, what's keeping you from moving forward. And it all starts at a level almost everyone knows, but very few people escape. Level 1. $0. The emotional grind. It starts at level 1. The emotional grind. And despite the name, this level isn't defined by having literally $0 in your bank account. It's defined by how many feels. You could have $1,000 saved, maybe even $2,000 sitting in your account. You might have a job, a steady paycheck, something that looks stable from the outside. But behind that number, there's always something heavier: debt, obligations, pressure that never really goes away. Maybe it's $25,000 in student loans, slowly accumulating interest in the background. Maybe it's $3,000 on a credit card that never seems to go down, no matter how much you pay. Maybe it's rent, utilities, insurance expenses that show up every single month without fail. And when all of that sits behind your money, it changes how you see it. It changes how you think. Every decision becomes a calculation, not a preference. A calculation. You walk into a grocery store and instinctively check the price before you even consider whether you want something. You pick up items, look at the cost, and quietly put them back without saying a word. You open an app to order food, scroll for a few seconds, and then close it, convincing yourself you don't really need it. And over time, these small decisions start to shape something bigger. They shape your relationship with money. At this level, money isn't a tool you use, it's pressure you feel. It's something that sits in the back of your mind all day, influencing every choice you make, whether you realize it or not. And the most dangerous part is, it becomes emotional. You don't think in terms of strategy or long-term growth. You think in terms of relief. What can I do right now to feel less stressed? What can I avoid so I don't have to deal with this discomfort? And that's where the cycle begins. Because when money becomes emotional, your decisions stop being rational. You spend not because it makes sense, but because it feels good in the moment. You avoid checking your bank account because seeing the number creates anxiety. You delay facing problems because dealing with them feels overwhelming. And slowly, without realizing it, you start moving in the wrong direction, not because you're making big mistakes, but because you're making small, emotional ones over and over again. That's how people stay stuck at this level, not because they don't earn enough, not because they don't try hard enough, but because they never break out of the emotional cycle. And as long as money controls how you feel, it controls how you act. And as long as it controls how you act, it controls your future. This is the level where most people spend years, sometimes their entire lives, without ever realizing there's a way out. But there is. And it begins the moment something shifts, not externally, but internally. Level 2, $10,000, the disbelief. Then one day, something changes, not dramatically, not overnight, but quietly, slowly, through discipline, consistency, or even just necessity. You reach a point where your balance hits $10,000, and, for the first time, you pause, you look at the number, and it doesn't feel real. You check your account again, just to make sure it's still there. Then you check it again later, not because you're afraid it's gone, but because you're surprised it exists. This is level 2, the disbelief stage, and it's one of the most important transitions in the entire journey, because it's the first time money starts to feel different. It's no longer just survival. It's no longer just about getting through the next month. For the first time, there's space. Space to think. Space to ask questions. Space to imagine something beyond your current situation. And with that space comes curiosity. You start wondering how this works. How do people grow their money? What happens if I invest? You hear about things like index funds, compound growth, long-term investing. Concepts that didn't matter before suddenly become interesting. And eventually, you take your first step. Maybe it's small. Maybe you invest $1,000 or $1,500 into the market. And at first, it feels exciting. You're doing something new, something that feels like progress. But then comes the moment that defines everything. The market dips, your investment drops, and suddenly, that old feeling comes back. Fear, doubt, the urge to pull out, to protect what you've built, to avoid losing what took you so long to gain. And this moment is where most people fail, because it forces a decision. Do you react emotionally, like you did at level 1? Or do you respond logically, like someone who's ready to move forward? If you panic, if you sell, if you retreat, you fall back into the same patterns that kept you stuck before. But if you stay, if you hold your position, if you trust the process and think long-term, something inside you changes. You start to see money differently. It's no longer just something you protect, it's something you understand. You begin to recognize patterns. You start thinking in terms of time horizons, risk tolerance, probability. You realize that short-term losses don't define long-term outcomes. And with that realization, money stops being emotional and starts becoming informational. It becomes something you can analyze, something you can learn from, something you can grow strategically instead of reacting to impulsively. And this is the level where people either evolve or stay stuck, because moving forward requires patience, it requires discipline, it requires the ability to sit with discomfort without making impulsive decisions. And that's not easy. But if you can do it, if you can hold that mindset, you unlock the next level, a level that looks stable on the outside, but feels completely different on the inside. Level 3, $100,000, the competence plateau. Then comes level 3, the competence plateau. And this level is deceptive, because on the surface, everything looks like it's working. You have a stable job, a consistent income, maybe $60,000, $70,000 a year. Your savings are growing, your investments are slowly increasing. From the outside, it looks like you've figured things out. People might even look at you and think you're successful. But internally, something doesn't feel right anymore, because at this level, you start asking deeper questions. Not how do I survive? Not how do I save more? But where is this actually going? And one day, you sit down and run the numbers. Really run them. You calculate how much you're earning, how much you're saving, how much your investments are growing. And then you project it forward. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And what you see changes everything. Because you realize that if you keep doing exactly what you're doing, working, saving, repeating for the next 30 or 40 years, you'll be okay. You'll be comfortable. You'll have stability, but you won't have freedom. And that realization is heavy, because now you can't ignore it. You can't pretend everything is fine. You've seen the reality behind the system. And that's when you understand one of the most important truths about money. A salary has limits. No matter how stable it feels, no matter how secure it seems, it caps your growth. It's a ceiling disguised as a floor. And once you see that, your mindset begins to shift. You stop focusing only on saving money and start focusing on building something that doesn't rely entirely on your time, something that can grow independently of your hours. Maybe it's a side hustle, maybe it's a business, maybe it's a skill that you can scale. But whatever it is, it represents a different way of thinking, a move away from linear growth toward exponential potential. And as you build that, slowly, over time, your net worth crosses $100,000. And again, the number matters, but not as much as what it represents. Because the real transformation at this level isn't financial, it's mental. You stop asking, how can I earn more by working harder? And start asking, how can I earn more without trading all my time? You start thinking in terms of leverage, systems, assets. You begin to understand that an asset isn't just something you own, it's something that pays you consistently, whether you're actively working or not. And once you experience that, even on a small scale, it changes everything. Your priorities shift. Your decisions become more strategic. You focus less on effort and more on efficiency, less on activity and more on outcomes. And this is where many people plateau, not because they lack the ability to go further, but because going further requires a completely different mindset. It requires patience when others are chasing quick wins. It requires discipline when others are looking for shortcuts. It requires the ability to delay gratification in a world that constantly pushes instant results. And not everyone is willing to make that shift. But if you've made it this far, if you've listened, understood, and reflected, then you're already ahead of most people, because awareness is the foundation of every level that comes next. The only question now is simple. Are you willing to think differently? Or are you going to stay exactly where you are?